Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for December 9, 2021, the Crypto Goes to Congress edition. We begin with that story from Bloomberg as representatives of the crypto agencies, or crypto industry rather, testified before Congress. They are seeking a light touch on regulations and the goals that they have are to keep from being classified as an investment. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this going forward. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Mingy Sun reporting, tackling FATF, the Financial Action Task Force, says a way to tackle financial crime and indeed climate change is tackling profits from this. There's a lot of environmental crime that really negatively impacts climate change. All you need to look at is the fraud, corruption in Brazil around the devastation and deforestation of the Amazon. And FATF says that standards for anti-money laundering and tracking illicit profits can often be overlooked as nations give priority to other crimes. And this can be a great way to help in the fight against climate change, but also in a way that helps prevent bribery, fraud, and corruption as well. Next up, Microsoft is in the crosshairs of the EU anti-competition regulator as they're taking a deeper dive and deeper look into its $16 billion transaction for the technology company Nuance Communications, asking customers and competitors to draw up a list of concerns. The previously unreported outreach is the most extensive by an antitrust authority since the companies announced the acquisition back in April. And our concluding story is from the New York Times, and it talks about the missteps the Chinese government propaganda machine made in responding to Peng Shuai. This type of propaganda is well used by the Chinese government and is effective internally, but when they put it out on a broader world market, it fell flat on its face because there was no transparency in how Peng Shuai was presented or treated. This really points to lots of lessons corporations need to internalize that the Chinese government missteps that they made. And it really, once again, highlights the difficulties Western companies are going to have doing business with not only China, but other authoritative regimes going forward. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.